Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, whoever you're leaving, cause it's your caravan, our descending, cause it's your caravan, our leaving, cause it's your caravan, our descending, cause it's your caravan.
Hello, welcome to this August 29th virtual service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. I'm Amanda Piburn, a member of the fellowship. We welcome you all, whatever your past, whatever your present circumstances, whatever your needs. Our congregation has no set creed, but a belief in shared inquiry and exploration, a respect for all peoples, and a willingness to work for justice and the interdependent web of life. We simply ask that you arrive with an open heart and an open mind, ready to learn and to teach, to hear both those who agree with you and those who don't. We all need community, and this is a safe place for us to grow. This morning's topic is a spiritual home for progressives. I and others from our fellowship will be sharing our thoughts on why we find this to be a supportive and necessary addition to our local community. If you're listening from the local area, the Florida Panhandle, you know this can be a very conservative region. Many of my local friends have strong religious beliefs they would never question. That's okay. But if, like me, you need a place where questioning is not only welcome, but encouraged, Unitarian Universalism may be for you. Our congregants are Christians, pagans, Jews, atheists, humanists, gay and straight. Here, I can explore them all. We try to gather truths from all cultures, all historical eras and religions. For me, this is so liberating. I can express my own views without being belittled or attacked for them. I can breathe easy, knowing this group of people, this congregation, has my back and truly wants to hear what I think and feel without condemning me for my beliefs or trying to change me. As part of this congregation, I can manage living in an area where so many disagree with both my spiritual practice and my politics. We all need a place of safety and support. This is mine. I can regain my balance and be ready to go engage with my conservative and religious friends again. I've belonged to a number of other types of communities, as I'm sure you have throughout our lives, but they're all transient. Some communities dissolve as time passes and our life stage changes. I rarely see the people I used to dance with, or volunteer with during my kids' school years, or teach with for so long, but our need for others never changes. I just retired from teaching and am now a full-time caregiver for my husband as his dementia progresses. I've gone from a very people-centered life to a very quiet, solitary one, at least for now. COVID, of course, has us even more isolated. But like our family, the fellowship remains a lifeline, even when it's a virtual one. The church has helped me grow in other ways too. I've learned to speak in front of adults and not just 6-year-olds. I've learned it's okay to express feelings openly, since that's how we really get to know one another. I see ways to get involved that might not have occurred to me before. If you're listening, I hope you'll join the Zoom coffee hour visits after the services. Seeing each other's faces is such a day brightener during this pandemic, especially for those of us at home. Come, whoever you are, and thank you for coming.
To be a Unitarian Universalist, written by Erica Hewitt. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work of telling the truth without oppression, the work of resisting any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity, the work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what, the work of creating heaven on earth. Hello, my name is Janet Chapman. My journey at this fellowship and as a UU began back in 2003. For almost a year or so, I had been searching for some type of spiritual community to potentially visit and maybe even become a part of. For almost a year, I had been reading the weekly UUFEC notices in the local paper that always intrigued me, and they directed me to belief.net, which quickly helped me narrow down my search. Mind you, I had never been much of a religious type of person, but I had been feeling that I wanted to be amongst others that were like-minded, who did not need to be preached hellfire and brimstone in order to be good people and do good things in the world. A place where I could come to fill out my mind and my heart with some uplifting and positive thoughts and ideas. When I was very young, I had an aunt and uncle who were in the Salvation Army, so our very large family went to their services a few times, but mainly I remember receiving food baskets from them during Christmas. I think that is what my expectation is of a church community, helping and accepting those in need with no judgments of your background or circumstances. Did I find what I was looking for at this fellowship? Yes, I definitely did. The first time I came here, Judy Byrne-Riley and Fred Boyer were out on the front steps talking, and they greeted me warmly. And when I entered, Shar was one of the greeters that day, and she welcomed me with her lovely and friendly smile. I don't remember what the message was that day, but I do remember as I sat there, I was fighting back tears as I realized just how right it felt to be here. There was no hypocritical praying or just going through the motions of a ritual. The hymns were comforting and uplifting, and the story for all ages seemed like such a brilliant concept. I felt talked to and not at during the service. Coffee hour was a bit of a challenge for me as an introvert, but Shar came to my rescue and introduced me to people so that I felt completely comfortable and welcome, and not like an outsider at all. I did become a member and quickly became involved with fundraising activities such as Desserts and Delights, and I joined the Dinners for 8 group that was very active at the time. I served for about 2 years on the finance committee, and then life intervened and I was still working full-time. But I became a first-time Nana to my son's 2 twin girls in 2009, so I did drop off the radar for a time. I retired from civil service in 2011, and I helped out a little more with the grandkids, but then I realized how much I miss my UU family, so I rejoined again as a member in 2015. This fellowship means so much to me. This is the place where I feel safe in speaking my opinions, where often my own thoughts and feelings are clarified for me, where the values that are important to me are exemplified and expressed and embodied. A place where I have met and known many of the kindest, wisest, and most open-minded people that I've ever known. It has been really hard not being together, not having in-person services. But what has been happening in the world and in our communities, throughout this pandemic especially, has shown me more than ever how much being a part of this church means to me. Sometimes I feel like it is a thread that holds me together. I know the time will come when we will all meet together again and share our stories and our strengths, and yes, even our weaknesses and sadnesses. But supporting this church community and keeping it going strong is something I am committed to doing, and I hope that you will share and renew that commitment too. And our new minister is fully on board to lead us and guide us into those better days yet to come.
Good morning, everyone. This is Amy again, and you know me by now. I've been telling you stories for a while, but today I'm telling you a story because I'm also a member of the board of this fellowship, and this morning a lot of people from the board are going to be talking to you about different things about the fellowship. And one of the things I really like about this fellowship is that I can bring you stories from all over the place and tell them to you, and then we can talk about what they mean to everybody, because stories can mean different things to different people. So this morning I have two very, very short stories to tell you. And we're going to try to share screen. So this is the first story. The first story is about a couple who moved into a new house. And the next morning after they moved in, they were eating breakfast and they saw their neighbor hanging the washing outside. And one of them said, "That laundry is not very clean. They must not know how to wash clothes properly. Perhaps they need better detergent." And the other person just looked on and didn't say anything. So every time their neighbor hung washing outside, the same comments were made. A whole month later, the person who had first noticed the laundry said, "Look, they finally learned how to wash clothes. I wonder who showed them how." Their partner replied, "I got up early this morning and cleaned our windows." And so it is with life. What we see when watching others depends on the clarity of the window through which we look. So that's my first story. The second story was told to my mother when she was traveling to a foreign country. And you guys all know about this, that if you mix yellow paint and blue paint, you get green paint. So you already know that. So the story is a group of people were traveling from yellow country, where they lived, to blue country, where they wanted to visit. So their guide got them all together in a room to teach them about blue country. Now in yellow country, everybody wore yellow glasses. So people were yellow, food was yellow, music was yellow, art was yellow. And their guide took them into this room and gave each person a pair of blue glasses so they could get to know blue country. So they all put on their blue glasses, and what did they see? Did they see blue food and blue music and blue people and blue art? What do you think? No. They saw green food and green music and green people and green art. Why? What did they need to do? So all of their ideas about blue people were being colored by what they had learned as yellow people. So what did they need to do? They needed to take off their yellow glasses and then put the blue glasses on. And then they could learn about blue people. So we need to take off our own yellow glasses and wash our windows in order to really get to know the people around us. So there's a couple stories you can talk about, and I'll be back with more stories another time.
Hi, I'm Sharon Albano. I serve as secretary on the board, and I choose to serve at UUFEC because the church has given so much to me. I genuinely feel the need to give back to the church. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my testimony and why I joined the church. And this isn't a big spiritual testimony or anything like that. It's more of a testimony of love and fellowship. So where to begin? First of all, I'm a single mom to 2 young children. My son Julian is going to be 9 in a few weeks, and my daughter is 6, and her name's Annabelle. I joined the church around 3 years ago, right after their dad and I split up. And I was feeling very, very out of touch with my community, isolated, and I needed some kind of spiritual community to engage with, and I was just searching for anything I could desperately at that time because I was really grieving and lonely. I also felt like I didn't really have a place in the community in Northwest Florida. I grew up in Connecticut and I moved down here when I was 15, which was a long time ago, but I was still kind of living in the past or just not wanting to be here, basically. So when I joined, I was in a really vulnerable position. I kind of just sat in the back, and I often fought back tears because I was just going through such a hard time. But I felt right away that the message of UUFEC spoke to me. I've always been a spiritual seeker, but I've never identified with any kind of dogmatic religion. I grew up in the evangelical church, which really emphasizes the spiritual, but I just couldn't buy into a lot of the dogma that they were teaching. So anyway, when I was in my early 20s, I discovered yoga, and I had a few spiritual experiences with that, but I didn't really have a forum in which I could engage with. And I was really, really craving that. I was on a few forums online, but that's different than being engaged with your community. I didn't really think that there was anything like that in Northwest Florida. So finding UUFEC was such an oasis, to be frank, for me. I really didn't have any friends when I joined. I'm kind of introvert, and I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere where I went. So, it took me a little while, but one thing I really loved about UUFEC was not just the message and the 8 principles, but we have small group meetings after each service, and there's all kinds of different things. Like my favorite one is the Buddhist group. There's also a free thinkers group. There's a social justice committee, like all kinds of different things. Even if you're not a spiritually minded person, UUFEC, you can find a place at the church. I know there's some atheists at our church, humanists. You can be Christian. You can really believe whatever you want. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we don't have a creed or, some kind of code of moral conduct. We definitely do in our 8 principles. I'm not going to list them off because I don't know them off the top of my head, but they all resonate with me. The one that resonates with me the most is the interconnectedness of all life, which is something I feel has a very strong spiritual component to it, even if you want to just look at it from a biological viewpoint. Anyway, so, I'm not going to go on too long, but joining this church was really my first step that I took towards healing. I was able to, engage and talk and find people to connect with. I've made friends. I still have 2 of my closest friends right now I met at UUFEC. I didn't really have any friends in this area, at least not any close friends. I had acquaintances and stuff, but I was like I said, I was a single mom. My kids were really small, so I met other moms. We have a great RE program, which is the program we have for kids. It's called Religious Exploration, and that also is something that I really, really love about the church. It's in line with how I feel I want to raise my kids when it comes to their own personal spiritual growth. I don't want to push anything on them. So, this really gives them an opportunity to explore and teach them, some basic moral codes, if you want to say it like that. Anyway, another thing I've loved about UUFEC is there's some great leadership at UUFEC, and it's inspired me to become more engaged with my community in the church, but not just in the church. Being engaged within the community of the church has given me more confidence and inspiration to be engaged with my community everywhere else in this area. Also, I love living here, which is something I never really expected I would get out of joining the church. Now that I feel like I have a place in my community, I don't really see everything through a negative lens as far as living here. I can appreciate all of the beauty and natural things that we have here to offer, the easy living. Anyway, I'm gonna cut my video short before I ramble on too much, but I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys. I hope that you enjoy the service today, and I can't wait to see all of your faces again when we engage in community in person again. Everybody stay well and safe, and may you go in peace. Namaste.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be
Good morning. My name is Gil Brown, and I've been a member of UUFEC since 1998. I didn't attend the streaming service last Sunday. I didn't attend the streaming service the Sunday before that. In fact, I've missed quite a few Sundays over the past several months. I think I'm burned out. Probably as a result of being president for 3 years. It's also, though, as a result of not getting the usual fulfillment that I'm used to getting from in-person services. You guys all probably feel the same way. Attending services virtually just isn't the same as it used to be there in person-to-person interactions. Sharing a presence together while hearing the UU message of the week. Singing together, maybe a shared meditation, catching up with friends around the snack table, the hugs, the second hour deeper sharing, the latest gossip. I miss it. So I am looking forward to someday being together in our physical world again. When I do see our members on our little two-dimensional Zoom screen and our little UU digital world, I get a little hint of what we used to have, kind of like cold cereal as opposed to a nice 3-course meal. I love good food. But if all I can have is cold cereal, it's better than nothing. To be fair, it is heartwarming to see members' faces on that little computer screen, like Amanda and Ned, and Shar and Ed, and Trudy, and Amy, and Athena, and Franklin, and Ruth. I miss all you guys. But I'm also enjoying my time at home on Sunday mornings. I'm kind of turning into a bit of a happy homebody. I work all day during the week with a very busy and completely rewarding job. And then I turn around on weekends and I do projects, helping our niece to drive, helping our daughter move out, catching up on repairs and projects like scanning years of photos and papers into the computer, cooking, cleaning, although my wife might dispute that last one. But anyways, my life has had no problems filling the empty void left in my Sunday morning schedule. And these are fun, rewarding tasks. So why will I come back to church on Sunday? Why did I agree to do this reflection? And why is UUFEC important to me? Well, I'll tell you. 1, emotional family support. When I moved to the Emerald Coast in 1998, I didn't know a soul. And I knew this church was here. And I knew it was a built-in family. I was immediately at home with people that I could share a common background with and build deep friendships with right from the get-go. I couldn't have imagined moving anywhere without that kind of connection awaiting me. And a few years later, when I went through a very painful divorce, UUFEC was there to help me heal and to regain my whole humanness with as little scarring as possible. 2, social justice. This is one of the places that I do my greatest giving and learning about social justice issues throughout the world. 3, spirituality. This is one of the places that sneaks up on me and gives me sudden bursts of unexpected om moments. Like when I'm just doing my thing and then somewhere in the course of the Sunday morning stuff, somebody says, now close your eyes, relax. And then the wave comes over me and my brain and my muscles shut down. And I become in another worldly place with a peace and calm that I wasn't expecting. And number 4, intellectualism. UUFEC is such a great place for people to open your eyes to new ideas and new facts. So these are the gifts that Unitarian Universalism and UUFEC have provided me throughout my life. And I want to give back. I want to provide these same gifts to others and to set in motion the chain of events that helps to spread these values throughout the world. It's hard work sometimes, but I feel my calling to pass it on. And so I answer the call and I continue my work here. And in so doing, I continue to be re-energized and rejuvenated. And that's thanks to all of you.
We leave blessed by our connections to one another, to the Spirit of life. Walk lightly that you see the life that is below your feet. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air.
We would be one as now we join singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to grace.